Hey everybody, this is Paul with CDA. I'm going to go ahead and show you a pretty important setup when you're first using CDA. And what that has to do with is how do you set up the products that you work on? And that's from the utilities menu, and it's called product codes. The next thing that's an important setup is how do I order and make a list for my parts vendors? So parts vendors, where you order your parts from, those are found in edit vendors. Then the next thing that's important is how do I add a list for where I get my third-party warranty work from? And so that's found under third party. And then last but not least is how do I add manufacturers and manufacturers that I get work from? And so that's under manufacturer, and then you say edit manufacturer. And so what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to add products. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say product code setup. And then what we're going to do, you'll see we already have some product codes added. So let's go ahead and take a look at dishwasher. So you'll see that we have products added, and you'll see that it's broken down into code, description, EDI code, and then the classification. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to double click on one, and that happens to be the dishwasher. And so what we're going to show you is you can type in anything you want the code to be. So this would be the code for dishwasher. This would be the EDI that you would select. This is our demo, so I'm just going to show you how you can randomly select an EDI. So you would just double click, and that would give you the EDI code. And then this would be where you'd select whether it's a major appliance, a consumer electronics, or other, an install, or a computer part. You could do it that way. You just select from there. So we'll just say it's a major appliance. And then we would give the description, and then we could even put more information where it says message to display on the work order when the product code is selected. So you can put a message in there, and that would be selected as well as a reminder for your employees. So we're just going to say save and exit. So if we wanted to add something new, we would simply say add. And what we would do is we would say, let's give it a name. So we'll just say TV 80 inches. And then if we knew what the EDI was, we would randomly just grab it. Again, this is a demo, so we're just going to grab anything. And then we would say, hey, it's a CE. And then we would just say 80-inch TV OLED. And then if we wanted to remind people of a message when this product code was selected, we would go ahead and put that message there. We will just go ahead and say save. And then you can see there's our TV 80, there's the description, there's the EDI, and then there's the classification. And then all we would do is we would just say save and exit. So that's how you set up your product codes. Now what I want to do is I want to show you how to set up your parts vendors, where you order parts from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say edit vendors. So here we are, we're in vendor. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and just look at Warrantech. So let's say we got third-party work from Warrantech. So we see we have Warrantech, we have the code, we can see it's activated, and all we did was we filled in the name as Warrantech. And then we can see we have all the information as far as where their address is here. We have the ship to information, we have account number, more account numbers. We can even add comments. We have an email address where you want order confirmations to get to. And then we have some shipping information. So this is the preferred shipping carrier. This is the preferred shipping method. And then here is very important fields. This is the return policy field. So we want to make sure we get this filled out. And the reason why we want to make sure we fill this out is because when we run reports, we're going to be able to tell you, hey, these parts are overdue or they're almost due. And the only way we're going to know that is if you fill this in. So we're just going to put this in. Let's just say they have a 60-day return for full credit. And for cores, they only do 45 days. And this vendor adds core charges to invoices. So that's how you would set up. So important fields you want to pay attention to is you're adding Warrantech, as in our example. You're going to activate it. If you know the account number, you can certainly put that in there. You're going to give it a name. You're going to fill in this information if you think you should. We have the shipping information, And then right here is our return policy, extremely important. We fill in the days for full credit and replacement and for core returns, and if cores are charged at the invoice level. So we want to make sure that we fill this in so that when, again, as I said, for when we run reports, and then different shipping information, and then some account information. Now let's just say we want to order parts from Fred's. So we just say Fred, and then there's Fred. We're going to say Fred parts. We're going to say here's his account number. We're going to activate him. And the only thing I really care about with Fred is his generous return policy. And that is what I care about. So what I would do is I would say save and exit. And now I can order parts from Fred's. So now I'm just going to go ahead and say save and exit. So now what I want to do is show you how to set up third-party providers that you do work for. So what you do is you go to dealers, you go to third parties, and then what you do is you would add a third party. Again, you would make sure it's active, and then this is where your product codes come into. So let's just take a look at American Home Shield. So we just would randomly name it the name that we wanted it to be, fill in this information, put in the account number, we would make it active, and then we would go ahead and add products. So what products do I work on for American Home Shield? So I would say add a product. I would go ahead and I would say I do sealed systems for them. Sealed system part warranty is 45 days and 45 days for labor. Again, you want to make sure you fill that in. Then do you need EDI information? You would fill it in. And then you would say, for billing purposes, we get paid $250 to do a minor sealed system. If it's a major sealed system, we get paid $450. And then again, if you want to give your employees important information when the sealed system is selected, you would put it there. So what we've done is we've said, I have American Home Shield, I do sealed systems for them, their parts and labor are 45 days, and now I'm going to go ahead and say save. And the reason why I do that is because now when I go to the billing tab and I work on a sealed system for American Home Shield, it will auto-populate what I should be charging. And so this is how you make sure you have your cost under control and that everyone's selecting the same exact price for when you're working on different product codes. Again, making sure that's active. So if I wanted to add one new, I would say add, and I would just give it a generic name. And the first thing I would do is I would say it's QQQ warranty work. Again, it's a demo. Enter in the account information. I would make sure it's active. Again, I could do a receive code. I can do EXP code. I can fill in this information. And then most importantly, I would want to say, what do I do for QQ third-party warranty as far as parts are concerned? I would say, hey, I work on 32-inch TVs and they have 60 parts and labor, and they don't pay that much. 75 for minor, and major they do at 125. Again, I would say save and exit. And so now when I do work for this provider for 32 inches, my billing is always going to be the same. So that's how you do that for third-party warranty companies. Now let's go ahead and take a look at manufacturers. So we go to manufacturers, you say edit manufacturers. And again, the same setup that we did for third parties is going to be the same for manufacturers. So all we do, we have Amana, it's active, we could put the account number, fill in more pertinent information, then here's the products that we work on. So let's go ahead and add another product just for our demo purposes. And let's just go ahead and say that we work on a washing machine's electrical, and we say this is 45 days for parts and labor, and they let us charge on site. They let us charge 200 for minors, and they let us charge 400 for majors. So now when I'm working on Amana's, I'm working on a washing machine that's electric. Billing information will always come in at either 200 or 400. I say save. I say save. And so that is how you set up your manufacturers, your dealers, your third parties, your part vendors, and then last but not least, that's how you set up your product codes under product code setup. So that will conclude our video for how to set up manufacturers, dealers, parts vendors, and product codes.